You know, ordinarily when we do, well, I guess this is a groundbreaking, right? Sort of a metaphorical groundbreaking. When we do it, it's usually in a, more open scene, more, a little more airy. This is a little bit different. This is a little more post-apocalyptic, but that's all to the good, because what we're here to talk about is something that is that we think is going to make a big difference in the neighborhood, make it a big difference across the city. Corinne, you should be back here, not just because of your hat. But we look, the Capitol Theater was once an anchor to the entire Ave. I mean, that may be the wrong metaphor, but the avenue is the spine of the city. It's the commercial spine in many respects. It's been a unique place in the city, really a unique place in the. I would submit in the Northeast, in the sense that it's been this commercial corridor in a densely packed neighborhood for well over 100 years, and it has evolved over time. It has gone from it has changed ethnic groups. It has changed its ethnic mix. It's changed its commercial mix. It's changed its overall profile and prominence in the city. But we can, whatever it looks like, whatever it's been over time, everybody recognizes that in the region it plays an important role. And so, we're here today at a place that was once a thriving center of entertainment and commerce to talk about its future, hopefully for the next 100 years. What is being done here through the initiative of the Community Economic Development Council is a modernization of what the role of this place in the neighborhood, in this general part of the city. It is going to be multifaceted. I'm going to have Corinne Williams talk in a little more detail when she comes up. But the idea is to create a number of things here that will have positive benefits for the Ave, for the neighborhood, for the immediate blocks in particular, for a long time. That includes the making available housing. More housing units is something that's been a very big priority for us and will continue to be for the foreseeable future. So a number of income-restricted housing units that will be built into this facility, but it'll be much more than that. It'll be a business incubator. It'll be the offices for the CDC, which does fabulous work all throughout the city, but especially right here in the near North End, to bring folks, to bring newcomers into the city, into a place where they can become more integrated into the economy, can pursue the American dream. It is altogether, to me, something that the city should be investing in, and it has. I'm going to talk a little bit about that. I think you have the renderings here that describe what it looks like, but one of the things that is important for us, that is always important for us, is the appearance of the place. I can't emphasize enough the importance of design, the role of design in the overall revitalization of a neighborhood. It matters a lot. If we make it look just so, both externally especially, but also internally, that becomes infectious, and that will, I think, help spur investment in other parts of the neighborhood as well. So that's important to us, and thanks to the great work, of course, here by Catherine Duff and the rest of the architectural team, you're going to see some real energy brought back to this part of the neighborhood that has needed it. So let me talk a little bit. I'm going to go through in detail about the funding stack, because suffice it to say, it's a mighty big one, mighty long one. It is a lot of government investment, and it is both the city as well as the state, but I just want to highlight a few. The city is in for a considerable amount of ARPA funds, and on that front, we offer our gratitude to the federal delegation for its support of the American Rescue Plan Act, which is enabling us to do a lot of stuff across the city, whether it's housing, port projects, daycare centers, open space that was once out of reach to us. And so We thank them for this great opportunity that will continue to pay off benefits in the long run. And we thank the City Council for its authorizing the use of ARPA funds for projects just like this. I want to thank Mass Development for their support, because they've been in it for a considerable amount of funds, all about $2 million altogether. The CPA, of course, Jessica Bailey's here, the executive director of the CPA. This is a community preservation project. There's a lot to preserve here. It kind of speaks for itself, but this is the kind of stuff that we should be doing. This was a center of activity in the North End again, but it played a very vital role in part of the city's story, and this is where we should be investing. So those kinds of funds. Mass Housing also playing a role. We appreciate their investment here as well. This is something that they're really good at, and they've done a lot of work with the city. We just had a ribbon cutting yesterday on Newton Street in the West End to talk about our first-time home buyers program, and we talked about Mass Development's Mass Housing complementary role with the city on these on housing projects generally. The EPA, Dave Cash, who's the regional administrator of the EPA Brownfield grant, Michelle Paul helped secure. That's another piece of it. And then the support of the state legislature, Tony for sure, as well as the rest of the state delegation, really putting their shoulder behind this particular project. It's a lot of government support. And so one might ask, well, why is that? That's just why not leave it to the private sector? Or why not expect the private sector to come up with a larger share, right, as proof positive of the viability of the project? And the answer is this: it's too important of a neighborhood, for one thing, to let deterioration continue, especially when we have the resources to do something about it now, thanks in part to ARPA. But the other thing I'll just say is this: the private sector is not going to touch this thing. The private sector is not going to be able to make a profit all on its own to rebuild this place in a way that the city wants, that anybody would reasonably want to see for the avenue. And if this is not too far away, we see a lot of daylight here indoors, and it's probably enough for me to say that this isn't too far away from the wrecking ball, and that would be a shame. It would be a shame to lose this for good. And so we have, so it is, I will fully acknowledge that this represents a bet placed by government on this particular property. We're placing the bet because, again, of the importance of the project, as well as our confidence in the team. I mentioned Catherine and the design team, the great construction contractors who are here as well as the CDC, and led by Corinne Williams, who's done so much fabulous work in this neighborhood. It's just sort of strived really hard to help throw open the doors of opportunity for the residents of this part of the city. And as tough as it's been, especially in recent years, with things like fires to your own property as well. This will be a new home for the CDC. The work that they do on the Love the Ave program, I think, is instrumental in what they will continue to do from this project. So there's a lot of different types of investments that are falling into place. The work that we will ultimately be able to, what we'll be able to accomplish on the Riverwalk, just a few blocks down the street toward the river, will be an enormous boost to this entire part of the city, and that's moving ahead as well. So there's a lot to look forward to, but you have to persist in these investments. You have to fly-spec them, because we take very seriously our charge to spend taxpayer dollars reasonably and with care, but at the same time, there is some risk to be borne, and I think this is a good bet. This is a really good bet for the North End in particular. So I want to thank you, Corinne, for your efforts along your leadership along the way. Again, I want to thank the support of the City Council. I want to thank City Council President Naomi Carney, as well as our Ward Councilor Maria Giesta, and at-large Councilor Linda Morad, as well, again, Tony and the state delegation for all of your terrific effort. With that, I'm going to stop talking and then hand the mic first to Maria, and then actually to Tony, and then to Maria, and then we'll have you come on up and say a few words about the project, to fill in the gaps, Corinne, and then we'll take questions. So, Tony. That's a step down.
Yeah, be careful. Well, good morning, and thanks, Mayor. And let me first congratulate Corinne for all her efforts and vision, really. Whenever there is an opportunity to invest in this neighborhood, and this is the first major investment in this neighborhood in the last 20 years. Right next door, Our Lady of Angels Band did a major investment about 20 years ago, all private money, meaning all community-based money from the membership and so forth, hoping for other investments. Here we are, 20 years later, and another major investment is taking place in this neighborhood. This kind of infusion of investment, this kind of project, that's what this neighborhood really needs. I don't know how many of you remember this neighborhood, but I remember this neighborhood very well. I first lived here in the North End on North Front Street, about 2 blocks down from here, or north and down. I remember this was a pretty vibrant place, right? You could walk, you could buy shoes on the avenue, you could go banking on the avenue. The Merchants Bank used to be right on the next corner here, down the street, First National, down the street by Cafe Europa. So this is, but since then, obviously, things have gone a little different. And as the mayor said, this neighborhood keeps turning, right? Major ethnic groups go through here, they make it into the American dream, and they move on, and that's happening again this time around. So you can go from the Polish Americans to the Franco-Americans, Portuguese Americans, and today Central American folks here really also working out of this neighborhood and making this neighborhood thrive. So I'm so happy to see really the kind of public investment. As the mayor said, without this public investment, this project probably could not happen. Private dollars would be very difficult to get this kind of project going. So the state is a big partner, the city is, the federal government, also historical tax credits both on the state and federal level. So I can't wait for this place to actually to open, because I think it will change. This is a transformative project for this neighborhood. It really is. And once this is up and running here, you're going to see other investments in this neighborhood. And that's what we need, bring this neighborhood back and create additional opportunities for investment, both public and private. And the avenue will be, again, what the avenue used to be, a major commercial corridor, a place that people lived and worked and walked. There was a supermarket right here on the corner, on the next corner, 2 corners up. The supermarket. So if you lived in this neighborhood, you didn't really need to drive, right? You could come to the cinema, you could watch a movie or watch a theater piece, or you could go banking, do your groceries right around the corner, if you will. So we hope that this investment begins that kind of activity here on the avenue. So hopefully that will happen, and I think it will. You need a couple of big investments in this area in order for that to happen. 20 years ago was Our Lady. Today is CEDC. And tomorrow will be other groups and other businesses looking to really invest in this area. And, of course, we get public investment too, Mayor. We need some more. The landscaping, sidewalks, the street, it all looks beautiful here. Maybe Mass Works can help, right?
Take it.
Right? MassWorks can help. By the way, it's a wonderful state program. This week, we're going to add an additional, during the economic development bill that we're going to debate on Thursday, we're going to add an additional $400 million for the MassWorks program. So that will, hopefully, New Bedford will be a beneficiary of that new investment as well in that particular program. So thank you again. Thank you to all of you. And I know Maria is looking to also be nostalgic about the neighborhood when this place was thriving and moving and kicking. And I think this project will be that transformative. Thank you.
Thanks, Tony.
Thank you. Good evening, or I should say good afternoon, everyone. I'm Maria Giesta, the Ward 2 City Councilor. First, I want to thank the Mayor for his support on this project, and also, of course, Ms. Corinne Williams here and the CEDC, her staff, Ken and Brian and the rest of them for doing an amazing project here. And of course, I want to thank my council colleagues here, Councilor at Large and Council President Naomi Carney, and Councilor at Large Linda Morad. I grew up in the North End. My family came here in 1966, and I grew up on Phillips Avenue, right behind where Nuno's restaurant is right now. And then my family bought a home near Brooklawn Park. So the North End, as and always will, have a very special meaning to me. I've always believed, and I know that many people agree with me, that Acushnet Avenue has always been an economic engine of this city and always will be an economic engine of this city. It's always been an area to attract many immigrants who have come to this area. The Lebanese, the Polish, the French, the Italians, the Portuguese, the Cape Verdeans. I'm very proud of what our city represents. And as an immigrant, I'm very proud of my city and how it's moved ahead and will continue to move ahead in this area. New Bedford is a great city and has a lot to offer, but so does Acushnet Avenue. And all you need to do is walk or drive up this beautiful street to see the economic boom of what the city stands for. I am very proud of what will come here. And one of the things I'm most proud of is the bank that will be housed in this building. Because if any of you know what Acushnet Avenue or what the North End is all about, from Coggeshall Street to Nash Road, there is no bank in this area. So that's a great accomplishment. So I thank you for that. Because it helps people, you know, being able to have an account, a savings, a checking, so they can do business, so they can buy a home, so they can buy a business, so they can send their children to schools. And that's what my parents did, and that's what Tony Cabral's family did, and Jon Mitchell and Linda Morad and Naomi Carney. That's what our families did. We came here for a better life for ourselves and for our children. And nobody should ever be demeaned for that. And unfortunately, there has been a lot of talk of hate. That's not me, and I know that's nobody in this room. So let's move on. I want to thank Jessica Bailey and the CPC for everything you have done for this city and the projects that you support, because that's what's important. I want to thank Adelsa Mendes, who's a great advocate of Acushnet Avenue. So thank you for all that you do. And there are many other people here that if I was to continue on and on, the mayor would probably hit me in the head and say, okay, Maria, let's go on. But I just, again, want to say how important a project like this is. I remember the Capitol Theater. Again, I grew up in the North End. My family came here in 1966. So I remember this building very well, like Tony Cabral has said, and all the different businesses around here. And it will continue to change, and it will continue to move forward. So again, thank you all very much for being here and for your support. I know that the CEDC would not be able to do this without it. So again, thank you. Have a great day and enjoy Acushnet Avenue because there are a lot of great restaurants here. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. It's a real pleasure to be here with Mayor Mitchell, Maria Giesta from the City Council, Linda Morad, and Naomi Carney, and Representative Cabral. Thank you so much for joining us today in this opening, not necessarily a groundbreaking, but an opening to start our long road from on our journey to develop the Capitol Theater. I know my mother used to say, good things come to those who wait. And this is certainly appropriate here, but I never heard the second half of it because I Googled it this morning, but it says, the rest of it is, but great things come to those who endure. So, so we're really, really fortunate that we have been on this long road because we've had the deep and broad support of the City of New Bedford, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, some federal partners that were mentioned, like the EPA through the city's Office of Environmental Stewardship and Resilience. We appreciate that, and the historic tax credits. But overall, I think it's really important. You know, we are talking about a project that did require a lot of public investment, but it's not just public investment, it's the people behind the public investment who've been our champions all along, from the mayor, from Rep. Cabral, from our city councilors, to the individuals who were in the offices who started us off, like Jessica Bailey from the Community Preservation Committee, and Jan De Silva, who've always been, had our backs and have always supported us and provided that seed money to get us going. And we were really fortunate in working with the process of Love the Ave initially. That was a partnership, this really exciting process to bring together partners to brainstorm and figure out things. We met Terry Bernard of Whale, who was kind of scoping the neighborhood and looking at historic preservation opportunities. So she got us started, and we were able to meet up with Catherine Duff of Studio to Sustain, and Sherry McTeague. There have been fabulous architects who have been visionary and integrating sustainable practices in this building. And we've been really fortunate that from these initial stages of planning through Love the Ave, the district has been designated, thanks to Ann Lauro too, who's here today, designated as a TDI district by Mass Development, Transformative Development Initiative. A really, really important designation, and brought with it an amazing fellow, Adelsa Mendes, who's been always an advocate and really pushing the project forward and really believing in the vision of the Capitol Theater and what it'll become. There are the renderings here, and it'll give you a sense that this space here in the theater space will become a place for economic development and workforce development. We know we do English classes at the CEDC, but there's a huge waiting list. There's room for more. There's opportunities for people to get jobs in construction, but there's limited workforce development training around that, or stitching, or the other kinds of jobs that people who live in the neighborhood could fill, but there's a missing piece around the training and workforce development opportunities. So these classroom spaces will play an essential role to that. CEDC for the longest time has worked with small entrepreneurs and a lot of the mom and pop businesses that you see along Acushnet Avenue. That is part of this next wave that Maria and Rep. Cabral spoke so eloquently toward, about that, how that waves of immigrants have come to settle in the North End and settle on Acushnet Avenue and open up businesses. We've been providing that kind of support through working with small food-based vendors, and there's been a missing piece around having shared use kitchen space. You can't just cook from your house, you have to be preparing your food in a commercial kitchen. So creating that space as also a place where people can prepare food, but also have the wherewithal to sell food and create these new businesses and one day become a restaurant or a food truck. And we'll have that space that's closer to the stage that will be flexible space that we can have our food vendors out there to kind of feed the people in the classrooms and feed the people who are coming in from Acushnet Avenue. So it's all these integrated pieces. The front of the building is also, of course, will be our new home and our new offices that we lost a while back on Acushnet Avenue. So we've been kind of planning out that space for the multiple kind of services that people in the neighborhood use. Brian, I don't know what happened. Brian had to give up his hard hat today, but he said there were like 108 people who came through our doors in our offices yesterday for a variety of needs and a variety of services, mainly supporting the newcomer community. So having this anchor space so that we can provide the services will be terribly important. We do have, thanks Maria, we do have developed a partnership with South Coast Federal Credit Union, who have an umbrella group of CEDC members, and we've built on that partnership, and we're really excited to have a mini branch there. And I'm so delighted that Cheryl Bartlett is here from the New Bedford Health Center to deepen our partnership in working around health equity and to provide some space to do more programming and care in the future as well. And last but not least, 6 affordable apartments upstairs. And I was reading in the newspaper today about the need for affordable housing in New Bedford and the deep crisis of affordable housing in New Bedford right now. Even though six apartments doesn't sound like much, but it's an important beginning, an important start to make a difference. And we're also kind of thinking about resilience and thinking about environmental resilience and climate change. And thanks to Michelle Paul and Courtney Cohen as well from the Department of Environmental Stewardship and Resilience, we've started to think about this place as a center and a space of resilience for the neighborhood. Unfortunately, we are kind of looking at episodic kinds of issues that come up with either flooding or climate-related events, but also community events that all too often we've been living through the fires. CEDC has become sort of this convening point for emergencies, so having this convening space, cooling space, as a resilience hub, that they're calling it, will really make a difference in light of that kind of change. And then I'd be really remiss to not acknowledge my team that has been tremendous in moving this vision forward and keeping all these disparate ideas together. Above all, Brian Pastore, who's been in the trenches and a true believer in the project from the get-go. And he always has some thoughtful input about the design and has been on our project team from the beginning. And then we were really fortunate to find a Wonder Woman who appeared through some of our partnerships with Elizabeth Murphy, who's been shepherding this process as a project manager and keeping us to our deadlines and raising the funds and just, again, being a Wonder Woman. So we're taking this project from the blighted condition that it's been in for so many years to something really special and something really different, to be able to relive some of what you remember on the Ave and what newcomers that we work with every day are living this history that recreates itself in every generation. So we're really, really privileged to be part of this adventure and this long road, but we're on our way, and we really can't wait to welcome you all when there is a real ribbon cutting next year when this transformation is complete. And I did want to introduce you just briefly to a member of our team who's somebody very special to us, Lucia Mateo, who really epitomizes the resilience of the neighborhood. She lives here in the neighborhood and was also a survivor of one of the fires. She also owned a business on Acushnet Avenue. But she'll share a couple of words about the project with you too.
Muy buenos días a todos los representantes de diferentes entidades que están acá. Muy buenos días, señor alcalde. Para mí es un placer tenerlos acá. Mi nombre es Lucía. Vivo aquí en New Bedford.
So I wanted to welcome everybody here today who's from all the public entities and to the mayor. My name is Lucia Mateo, and I live in New Bedford. Mm-hmm.
Me siento muy contenta al verlos ustedes que están acá por apoyarnos. Yo soy más de un inmigrante que estoy acá en Bedford, resido aquí en el norte. Creo que donde estamos para mí es un espacio muy importante para la comunidad.
I'm really happy to be here and really grateful for all the support, and I know that this space is going to be a very special place in the neighborhood.
Como comunidad y como organización de CDC, creemos que nosotros estamos acá promoviendo diferentes programas como la participación ciudadana y también nosotros como organización abordamos diferentes trabajos, especialmente para la comunidad que lo necesiten, pero también ya no solo somos un fuente de resolver problemas, sino que también ya somos un fuente de promover lo que es la economía en especial, que es un gran aporte también para el país.
Yeah, just speaking on behalf of the CEDC and the type of work that we do, we always want to encourage the participation and the involvement of people in the community. And it's not just a place where people come to resolve problems, but we really want to become a real resource for economic development in the neighborhood as well.
Y también tenemos nuestros objetivos muy claros y concretos, que en la cual simplemente trabajamos para el bien común para todos. Este espacio yo lo considero, no es para Corinne Williams, no es para Lucía, y no es para el señor alcalde, no es para ustedes, es para todos, es para la comunidad. Trabajemos, nosotros no excluimos a nadie, creemos que todos, este espacio es para todos, porque muchas veces quizás lo vemos como solo para la organización, no que en sí, no que es para la comunidad.
And we wanted to just make sure that everybody knows this is a center that's going to be for everybody. It's not for Corinne Williams or Lucia Mateo or for the mayor. It's a center that'll belong to everybody.
Y la verdad, yo sé que tenemos un compromiso muy grande. Nosotros como organización de CDC, solo me queda que decir que tenemos un compromiso social muy comprometido, un compromiso muy grande con la comunidad, con nosotros, con ustedes, y la verdad me da mucho gusto de estar aquí con ustedes y ustedes nos están acompañando en este momento. Yo sé que solo a través de la participación y a través de la voz como comunidad podamos hacer muchos cambios.
And I just wanted to reiterate how committed that we are as an organization, as CEDC, but also how grateful we are that everyone has come out to be part of this special occasion as well.
La verdad, muchísimas gracias. Yo creo que no tengo más palabras de escribir. Nosotros seguiremos trabajando con la mano con ustedes y muchísimas gracias por estar acá, por acompañarnos y no tengo más palabras que agradecer, que esperemos que nos vemos una próxima ocasión.
And I don't have anything else to say, but I really wanted to thank you so much for joining us today.
All right, we'll get some shovels. So one other thing I just want to say is the city staff who've also helped, I've mentioned a few folks, and Laura, Courtney Cohen, great job, guys, and everybody else who's played a part in the project. We're not doing a groundbreaking, we're doing a rubble shoveling. So, for the record, okay.
I would just say that the community kitchen, that's such a key part of the whole project. is the L that was built, which was the old boiler room. It was the old sort of energy plant for the whole project, which we don't need anymore because we're going to be all electric, and that stuff goes on the roof now.
So wait, so the kitchen's gonna be over there?
So the bathrooms are all the restrooms are there, and the kitchen is the next door. It's part of the same L building, but
Yeah,
the
the
entrance
building
is to
at the
the
first
correct.
one's out that way.
Yep. And then down by the stage, the extension of the stage will be the incubator space, which will function like an international marketplace. Vendors, small vendors.
You have to be a heavy sleeper to live right, like on the avenue right there.
Did you know that you can watch any of New Bedford Cable Network shows anytime, anywhere on all of your mobile devices? How, you may ask? Just log on to nbcablenetwork.com and bam! You have all 3 channels at your fingertips: public, educational, and government access. Here, you can view our program schedules, watch our channel's live broadcasts, or search for a particular program in our vast library of shows. Last year alone, New Bedford Cable Network produced over 500 shows, and nearly all of them are available online at nbcablenetwork.com. Not only can you stay up to date with what's happening in your local government and schools, but also dive into some of New Bedford Cable Network's original award-winning programs. So check us out at nbcablenetwork.com.